Hi there, knife people. Hello, lady and gentlemen. This is part 2 of the video about Vosteed Psyop. If you are watching it on the day of its release, I would like to thank you for being my channel member. And if you are watching it a few days later, when it became available to general public, I appreciate you tuning into my channel and hope you consider subscribing or even becoming a monthly support member of the channel at the link provided in the description and in the pinned comment. Part 2 is all about hard testing. So we're going to subject it to some torture tests and then measure the hardness of the blade. This is an Elmax blade. Now that I learned something about it, I compare it to S45VN. And so without further ado, let's get her tested. All right, this little thing here is called my Hype Smasher and consists of 2 parts. First is the modified arbor press, where I remove the rotary mechanism, and it comes with a 2.5 pound steel bar. I call it the ram, which can now free fall and drop. And the other part of this is the wooden clamp modified to hold a knife. It emulates human hand because I'm using steel rods bound in rubber hose to imitate the skeletal and flesh structure of your hand. The knife is not completely rigidly mounted. It has a little bit of the play, just like it would in your hand. There are some concerns out there in the community that this is an excessive test. I don't think so. I've had people commenting where they got the blade stuck in a piece of wood that they were working on, and when they pulled it out, the back of the blade struck something and closed on their fingers. Plus, I would like to make sure that the lock operates as intended. Now, the way the knife is clamped, the lock remains fully functional. It's not restricted in any way. I can press the button. You can't see it, it's on my side. But if I press the button, it simply unlocks the knife. Here you go. The space here, I maintain 6-inch drop distance. By my calculation, it gives us about 40 pounds of force dropping on the spine of the knife. The way I set it up, I bring it closer, making sure that the tip of the knife is not going to strike this part. There's like a recessed space here. And to maintain the 6-inch distance, I mark where it is. That's for you. And this one is for me. And when I raise the bar, raise the ram, I'm going to hold it to that line. So now I have exactly 6 inches, so all the knives go through the same test. I'm making sure there's repeatability. From here, it's very simple. And as you can see, the knife has not unlocked, which is good. And the lock is still functional. Lock the knife, raise it to the same height. Another successful strike. The knife is still operating. And the last final strike is, here we go. And the knife did not unlock. So now I'm going to check the knife's function again. The blade is still closing when I need it to. Get it out of there and test the function. I'm going to check it for play. I detect just a slight side to side. No up and down play. I did not check side to side play before, so we're going to give it a full pass because I can't truly know whether or not the side to side play was there. Typically this test, if there are inferior materials in the locking mechanism, it will open up and down play, or plain out, and as in the case of regular button locks or plunger locks, sometimes it shears off that plunger completely. So we're going to say this knife has passed the test. All right, this next test can be even more damaging to the knife. Let's first check it for function. Right now it's tuned to have no side to, I got a little side-to-side play, no big deal, using T8 driver bit. I'm going to tighten it a little. I don't want to tighten it so the Blade doesn't drop shot, but it does. No play right now, no up and down play, and the blade should be straight. Let's take a look. And to determine the straightness of the blade, I'm using this boinking test, perfectly scientific terminology here. So this test or demonstration is like sight and sound, just to get a feel for the knife. It's pretty flat. Now, with a little help of my friend here, I'm going to put it into this hardwood clamp. It'll be about 3/8 of an inch deep. And on this carpenter's compass here, I preset 15-degree angle. So that's the angle we're going to try to bend it to see if there's any permanent deformation. Now would be a great time to hit that like button. Also, if you please could double check that your notification bell for my channel is on. For some reason, YouTube switched off a lot of these notifications lately. To earn your respect and viewership, I work really hard on these videos. Typically, a 20-minute video takes me 8 to 10 hours to complete. Okay. And the next stage is, I'm going to make sure it's secured. We don't need this anymore. Now I'm going to twist the blade in both directions, applying a lot of torsional stress to it. That tests all the internal components. I'm going to go 3 times in each direction. And I do it as hard as I humanly can. What I really like about Vosteed designs, they're robust. For example, this knife has 2 screws in the back instead of 1. They absorb a lot of torsional strain. Does it help? Well, we'll see in a moment. And we check first and foremost if the blade is straight, looks straight to the naked eye. Does the knife still function as before? It sure does. Did any new play open up? No. I got a little side to side, just a little less than we had before. But that tuned right out. I probably 1/16 of a turn, barely. No up and down play. Very robust knife. Definitely passed this test. All we have to do now is take the blade out and put it on a Rockwell hardness tester. All the hardness tests I do start with a verification of the device's calibration. For that, I use this independently certified test block. It's certified to NIST standards, and it is serialized and marked to be at 62 HRC. What you're seeing on your screen is a diamond indenter compressing the metal with a 150 kilos force, and the result is 62 exactly. I'm going to poke the calibration block one more time just to make sure the device is within the repeatability spec. Repeatability is supposed to be plus or minus 0.5 HRC, 1/2 HRC. And the second poke yields 62.1 HRC. Now that we are satisfied that the device is accurate and precise, here's the Vosteed blade, in case you haven't seen a Psyop blade out of the knife. Elmax is a 3rd-generation powder metallurgy steel produced by Odelheim Bohler of Austria. That company recommends heat treats of 59 to 61 HRC, but the community errs on the side of 61 to 63. And we got 60.9. We're smack on the cusp of these 2 ranges. Interesting. Guess Vosteed didn't want to anger German metallurgists. Guys, these knives aren't even legal in Germany. Don't worry about them. Here in America, we won that extra point. 60.7 HRC on the second test. If I worked at Vosteed, when sourcing the blades for a specific model, I would ask the supplier to use top of the recommended range as your minimal hardness, especially for blades thicker than 2.5 millimeters. All right, what do we got here? 60.9 again. If I had to call the range, it's 61 plus or minus 0.5 HRC. All right, first I wanted to show you the new edge this knife has. Let me see, can you see it? It's nearly mirror polished, and I'm going to use this opportunity to show you how the crazy mind of a knife enthusiast works. Because it's still tested pretty well for hardness, I decided why not let it shine, figuratively and literally speaking, and put a quick and sharp edge on it and show it off. This decision was greatly helped by the fact that I have a new sharpening tool in my arsenal, and I also wanted to show it off to you guys. In my zeal to be done with a video, when I was sharpening, I was not using my microscope. After I finished and tested the knife for sharpness, which you will see, I was very satisfied. Once I put it under the microscope, I went, ooh, imagine if I was reviewing this knife and it came with striations all over the place. Anyway, I was not satisfied. So I went back, I didn't film this part, I went back and spent a considerable amount of time putting that edge you just saw on the knife, and then I filmed it under the microscope again and did some sharpness tests. So if you already got all the information you needed out of this video, I appreciate you stopping by. Have a nice rest of the day. For those of you who are crazy about sharpness, well, let's stick around and nerd out together. This new sharpener is by far the most advanced system out of everything I own, and I own quite a few. It was so inexpensive, I was able to buy a couple different items for it. For example, this angle finder, a couple other things. All that deserves its own video. I'm not going to spend any time today talking about it, except for one important thing. The clamps are preset at a fixed angle of 15 degrees. And I felt that this would be a great angle for Elmax at 61 HRC. So I decided to keep it that way. At the time, I didn't know, and I'm about to find out here in the video, that the knife was actually sharpened to that exact angle at the factory. Otherwise, I would have to do a little bit more adjustments on the setup, but I didn't know it at the time, so I marked the edge, and here's what I'm doing is finding out the factory angle. I'm jubilant that it's matching to the preset on the sharpener, so all I had to do was get going, and I'm accelerating it 16x to save you some time. If this is not a sharpening video, making some adjustments here to make sure the sharpening plate is not jumping onto the blade. And here I go. First time I did it at 600, 800, and 1000 grit, and then did some stropping, as you're about to see. As you watch this, hope for a like from you guys. If you're not a subscriber, let me ask you, what's stopping you? I'm in like 8th hour of working on this video, so if you take a second and click that button, I would appreciate it. By the way, I don't provide affiliate links to the knives, but all the tools that you see me using here will be linked in the description under this video. I only recommend tools that I personally use. They are very reasonably priced, and the links, if you decide to use them for shopping, will help out the channel, but you don't have to do that. Here's the quick and dirty in-between test to make sure that I'm sharpening symmetrically. Yep, looks like I'm well on the way, and here's a pre-stropping paper towel test. Wasn't that great, so I decided to strop it. And for that, I'm using my Beaver Craft strops. They're very inexpensive, under $20, and sometimes less than that on Amazon. And I'm using TechDiamondTools paste to impregnate the leather. The leather is natural and very high grade. These are, of course, imported strops. They're made in Ukraine. And I've been using the first one for quite a while now, at least a year, and it doesn't degrade all that much. So I'm getting my $20 worth out of it. What you see me do is run the strop and then check on the shiny side of the leather to see if there are any remaining burr. They constitute themselves as striations on the surface of the smooth leather. Grabbing some paper towel, yeah, it just gets in and cuts it like there's nothing there. Sorry about the camera angle. Hopefully you can see and hear absolutely smooth cuts, unsupported, suspended in the air paper towel. Try that with your sharpest knife. I encourage you to see if that will cut. And here's that paper tube that didn't go so well in the first part of the video. Before I go to it, I'm going to go to the finer grits of the paste on my secondary strop. This side is 3000 on the rough side, and then I'm going to switch to the smooth side, which is at 5000. As you notice, I don't count strokes while I'm stropping. My number one rule in stropping is there are no rules in stropping. I am simply looking at the leather and testing the edge with my thumb to see how sticky it's getting. And then I'm ready to give it another shot at this paper tube. I'm sorry, paper towel tube. Huge difference. I hope you can see that. I think the edge geometry worked out really well, but the blade geometry, this pronounced belly without straightaway, makes it a little harder to perform this task. Right around this point, I remembered that I owned a USB microscope, so I decided why not film the new edge so I can brag about it later. Imagine my surprise when I saw this. The tip was okay, but the striations were all over the place. It didn't project the level of professionalism that I expect from others and should expect from myself. That said, the apex turned out really great. You can see there's no convexity due to stropping because the stropping was light, even may not look that way. But the apex is a line. There's no reflection of the light on the apex. That means there's no radius that can be visible even at this magnification. And definitely there's no burr. But, you know, I took a break from filming the video and looked at these images, and I just couldn't live with myself. So I went back and redid the whole edge. Every sheet of paper towel I waste gets me closer to the next tube. As you can see, it's cutting a lot better than even after the first sharpening. Nice, continuous, straight cuts, crisp edges to the cut. I am quite satisfied with the result. Get things out of the way. It just bites right in and follows through. Again, that's where that belly is getting in my way. If it was a longer, straighter blade, it would go a lot smoother. But that doesn't faze me. This knife is an EDC type blade, and this pronounced belly would definitely help with everyday cutting tasks, especially if you ever use your pocket knives for food prep. I wish I could do hair whittling test next, but I am follically challenged, so I resort to using a single filament 4-pound fishing line. It's 11 thousandths of an inch thick, so it's about twice the thickness of a human hair. It's coming up next. Obviously, I'm not there yet. Still having fun with a paper towel tube. I think I'm done now. Here's this fishing line, nothing fancy, bought it at Walmart. Very inexpensive. And here I'm letting it just catch on the apex. And once I feel the bite, I just start pulling it through. Right there. And the sharper the knife is, the longer you will be able to continue this whittling cut, splitting the fishing line in two. And here's the other half. Looks like the second sharpening removed most, not all, but most of my striations, frustrations. If you think this was funny, you might be a nerd. And as such, you should be able to fully admire this perfect apex. I think it's the first one for me where the entire apex lacks imperfections, and I attribute it fully to the new sharpening system. And here's my pet peeve point. A point should be pointy. Just pointing that out.